Hello, everybody. It's Dante the Snake. How you doing, my snakes? Oh, I'm sorry. I just got hit by a brain tumor that made me kind of a bit slow. So, the Nasuverse debunk finally came out, and it was 15 minutes, just like he said. He fit that quota with all of his ums and uhs and filler words. And I'm sure some of you guys have already seen it, and it was not good. Now, I watched it when I got up with my friend Solomon. It was so terrible that he broke his microphone. Yes, you heard me right. His microphone broke because of how bad it was. My internet went out. That was how bad it was. And I'm not joking about that. My internet went out for like 2 minutes for no reason at all. And it's like, is this a coincidence? I think not. I think there was something that was in this video that was so terrible that it just my internet didn't want me watching it anymore. So I watched the video like 2 times to write notes. I took notes of the whole entire video, and this goes over all of the points he made. In total, I have about 57 points that I am going to have to go through. Now, let's start with this. First thing he does is that cringy intro. Hello, snakes. First of all, you don't have any fans. You don't have people that give a shit about you. Stop with that. And your intro was god awful. I don't even know what that was. At least with mine, I just use random shit. Who cares about an intro? And the thing that I keep noticing was that he kept tripping over words and kept using and stuff and just couldn't really keep it together. It's like you got a script, right? And you're telling me you still don't know what to say? That's crazy. You see, I don't ever do these videos with scripts. I just kind of do it off the top of my head. So that is honestly excusable for ums and uhs, but I don't do it very often. I might do it once or twice, but I refuse to do the filler words. And then the second point I had with the video is there was a lot of random photos or GIFs or GIFs, however you want to say it, that just did not fit. I kept noticing like there was a Superman one, a Goku one, a Demon Slayer one. It was like you took a week to upload this, and it was a lot of your video. So you're telling me that this is what you spent time working on, wasting everybody's time, including your own. And it was just a weird thing. But he's gonna tell us, Natsuverse people, about our verse when one, he hasn't read it, two, he hasn't even watched it, and three, is he really gonna talk about other verses at all, including ours, when he thinks in Dragon Ball Jump Force Goku is the strongest version? Are you fucking kidding me? You know how stupid that sounds? And that's just me diverting off topic because that's just one of his many things he brings up in the video, which are unusual. And so his first point is that everything in Natsuverse is not canon outside of Fate Stay Night because Nasu didn't write some of it. Now, first of all, the verse's official name is not called Nasuverse. It is called Type Moon. And second of all, a lot of the stuff that you use was not written by Nasu in your debunk. So it's only canon when it fits your rhetoric, huh? And one of the things he says that is not canon is fake grand order. So you're trying to tell me that something he wrote partially of the main story is like not canon? Alright, well, that would work if, first of all, he approved it, Fate Grand Order, like every single other piece of work in Type Moon. As long as he oversees it and approves it, then it is canon. And every single thing you said is wrong. And you're telling me that something that started on July 29th, 2015, that's going on for almost 10 years now, is not canon. Now, you know how stupid that sounds? Something that has been going on for that long is not canon. What's the point to that? I gotta ask, what's the whole point of writing something for over 10 years for it not to be canon? And to also add on to this, there is hundreds of hours of reading in this, so I very much doubt you read this, but it really didn't make sense. And his main argument too is like, okay, if it's not written by the main writer, then it's not canon. So wouldn't, by his logic, Jump Force not be canon because the author of Dragon Ball did not write that? He didn't write anything for that. So that's not canon by your logic. So what are you trying to do? And another point he makes is because Ryogi Shiki is in it, that somehow it makes it not canon because other characters from other works in Type Moon are not allowed to appear in it. Well, I'm gonna just tell you something right now, Dante. If you have actually picked up Type Moon works, almost every single work in the series has a reference from another series. There's multiple characters that appear in other series like Aiko, Toka, and Arc. Plus, are we really going to ignore Arturia from Grand Order, that version being in Melty Blood? It's just, it's really shows that you really don't know what you're talking about at all. And so he kept going on to random topics, more gifts of random characters that are not even part of the verse. And then he uses, Garden of Sinners, a part where Ryogi Shiki, I'm just going to say Shiki because that's the only one we're going to talk about in this video, she got hit by a car. And, that's the extent of her powers. First of all, Dante, that's the beginning of the story. So you're telling me that a person that was base human, like, if you want to be nice and call it base human, because she really wasn't. But this was before she got her powers, the mystic eyes of depth perception. This was before it. None of the physical boosts she got later on in the story. Have you ever heard of character growth? I mean, it's just really unusual that he used that one common joke unironically. It's like, okay, well, why don't I show you this where your favorite character gets hit by a rock and he is damaged by that? Does that mean your verse Dragon Ball is now rock level? See how stupid you sound? It doesn't make sense. And then he also uses something of, oh, she's in Fate Grand Order, which doesn't make sense at all. Well, it would make sense if you actually read the story because you use the point of, oh, she's one-shotting everything. Well, you also, like, I'm sorry, I'm just kind of like really having a hard time understanding why he thought it was a good idea to post this. She's inside a servant container, which boosts her physical strength even more than before. And so she's able to, before she was able to keep up with servants and fight them and kill them, and now she got a upgrade. So it's like, what are you trying to pull here? And he also once again forgets about the mystic eyes of depth perception that are listed as one of her abilities in Fate Grand Order. And he also says that Shiki fights Arc in Fate Grand Order and was killed. And it's like, first of all, that was not in Fate Grand Order. That was in Fate Extra. So you didn't know what your source was. That just shows how stupid you are. And the Arc statement he uses of, oh, Nasu said Arc was the strongest. Yes, that was back then, before Garden of Sinners came out, before the remake for that series came out, before a whole bunch of things came out. Now it is way different. You cannot use that statement anymore because it is outdated. And it has been proven wrong many times. And he says, "Oh, this contradicts Nasu's statement." It's like outdated statements are in every single verse. So, have you never seen an outdated statement before? And let's move on to his next point. Fate Extra not being canon because it has alternate universes. That that doesn't make sense at all. You gotta admit that you just don't know what you're talking about, and you can't stick to any topic you make, or show evidence for that matter. I mean, it has alternate universes, so that makes it not canon. I'm trying to understand the logic in that. So, multiverse concepts makes it not canon. So, are you saying that, like, I don't even know what he's trying to say with that statement. I still don't know why he uploaded this video. And so, after all of that he said, he says the main misconception people have about the verse. Right. You're gonna tell people about the verse when you haven't read it. Okay, shut the fuck up. And everybody accepts it, even outside of the scaling community. Fans of the universe, of the verse, the whole entire thing, whatever you want to call it, they accept this. It is what the Type Moon Wiki straight up says. I'm glad to know that somehow some random kid that mumbles knows more than the writers, to the wiki writers, to the fans that love this series to death. And he had in the video a word salad where he was like, like it was like, okay, Joe Biden, it's crazy you're getting dementia at this age. Like it was like the moment for where he said, America could be represented by many things, by one word. That's exactly what he pulled, and it was like, wow. Joe Biden is debunking Nasuverse. And so he used random tiers from all the wikis, including one that he dick sucks and that he says is the best one, but now he's disagreeing with it. And he starts referring to that one wiki was made specifically for Nasuverse. Now, I will say, if one wiki was made for Nasuverse, then how come SCP is tier 0? The Force is tier 0. World of Darkness is tier 0. Gaia from World of Darkness. I see Elder Scrolls tier 0. I see Lovecraftian God tier 0. The one above all? Yes, this is clearly made only for Nasuverse. They put some of these people above everything. I see the fucking presence. You're telling me that there's like only one thing here that is from Nasuverse that is tier 0, and that's the root, which I'm gonna be honest, is not a character. And of course there's Shiki there, but Shiki, from what I've heard, is getting removed from tier 0. So your point does not stand. You're going to talk about PSW, not because you disagree with it, but it's because it's a bias that it doesn't fit wanking your Magic the Gathering addiction. your gambling addiction, your little cards that you play with. So maybe with your parent mindset, like you can go off queen all you want, but who is controlling you like a puppet? I gotta know. Is it maybe that libtard level scaling? Is it him, perchance? I know he's the one that you stole quite a bit of arguments from because I reverse searched a lot of this on Google, the stuff he uses. There's not one argument of his that he made that wasn't already made before. He stole every single one, and he doesn't have any original things to say. It's just a copy and paste argument. That is why he's so all over the place, because he really doesn't know what he's talking about. And it's kind of sad that he's so desperate to debunk the verse that he's not even willing to do research, but just ask, hey, you got to debunk, and then just repeats it on YouTube. And so he then goes on saying that the cosmology is so small. Right. Something that has been going on for well over 20 years, and off the top of my head, I would say it has about 34 pieces of work. And there's mangas, light novels, visual novels. I mean, some of the light novels have quite a few books in them. And there's so many words in this series. If you like put them all together, it would be multiple Bibles. So you're telling me that's small? Okay, whatever makes you feel better. And then he then goes into the main misconception that he's talking about, servants beyond space and time. And then he starts going on about some random thing, like he does it many times throughout the video, and then he confuses himself. It's like, are you 90 years old? You really are Joe Biden in disguise. For the next point he goes into, he says that FGO was not canon, right? And then he starts using stuff from Fate Grand Order. And then he doesn't use something from the main part of the story because there's multiple like different universes and textures, and so you would think he would go for the main area where all of the story's happening. No, he goes to the side thing, that events that don't scale anywhere, as he said, and uses that. And not only does he not use, he uses a part that is from an event, but one of the characters, she has a whole entire galaxy inside of her body. And there's two of her. There is, and they both represent a galaxy, the blue and the red side. And when her soul is completed, when both of them are combined and back to their original form, it represents a whole entire universe. So this guy is trying to tell you something, but he's leaving out details because it does not fit his rhetoric at all. He's very tricky with what he says, and he will not tell you that, hey, it's the primordial goddess that is the universe. No, he's going to use the split version of her, the two smaller versions, and he just ignores huge story aspects to fit his rhetoric. And it's like, come on, you can't be this desperate. You can't be this bad. And so, to also add on to just this thing, it's like he uses, oh, humans are able to swim in space and able to breathe in space. So that means it's like, I don't know what he was trying to do with that point. He didn't say what he meant by it, but it's like you also you forgot to put in that humans have evolved and became higher species and are superior to a normal human, and that their bodies are just better. They are stronger. They can take more stuff. And then in the middle of this, he puts a speed debunk. And this was, I guess, the last second of when he was making his video just to put something in. And then he uses a speed debunk of the flight speed of a pterodactyl and the travel speed of two low tier servants. And it's like, once again, what are you trying to prove with that? Like, why don't I just go to something like Bleach and I use a human that's running and then say, oh yeah, that's the fastest Bleach can go. Or one of the cars that was shown in Earth, that's the fastest they can go. Like, dude, you're being very tricky and manipulative with your video. And it's really kind of stupid that you're trying this with something with people who actually read the content. And using a pterodactyl as a way to base the whole universe, the whole entire verse as I don't get what you're trying to do with that. It's like there's many things that you could have used to debunk it, but that was your best one. And one thing he does is he uses a statement about how a person was blown a parsec away. But it's like he says that's not even a solar system. That proves it's not even a solar system in size. Size, first of all, has nothing to do with it. And parsec is the measuring outside a solar system, the distance. So you just admitted and disagreed with yourself that it is bigger than a solar system. And another thing he says is that this said person is Ishtar, Space Ishtar, is the most powerful god. Once again, going off topic. And second of all, that is not true. That is wrong. Like crazy wrong. She's only the most powerful inside of her universe. That the servant verse. So I don't know what you're trying to go with there. And Servanverse recently had another thing after this, and she got topped. She got topped easily. So she is not the most powerful anymore in that universe. And then another thing is he just it showed a talks about like size of stuff, like of the solar system and the universe, but he just shows a Spider-Man GIF instead of putting scans to prove his statement. And it's like, okay, how about this? This one screenshot of Elizabeth Bathory kills your whole entire argument. See how it says outside the solar system? Wow, that means it is not. It is farther. You are wrong. And he then goes on about Buddhism, and it's like, you're focusing on that, but all religions are canon inside of Nasiverse. Try again. And then another random Spider-Man GIF, and it's like, dude, this took more than a week? And then he started going on, and then he started doubting his own statements. And it's like, whoa, what are you doing? He went silent for like 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and then started using filler words. It was like, I don't know what the fuck you're doing, man. You're really just a mess. Then, to continue on about what he is talking about, he starts talking about pruning and uses a random raw with no translation, then a random cheeky picture with nothing to do with the topic at all. And to add on to it, he starts explaining how pruning works in a rough way. He leaves out that pruning only happens if that texture goes off track. And it can handle infinite textures, but if it goes in a way that is not liked, it deletes it. It prunes it. So, really, pick a different topic, man. You don't know what you're talking about. um, you see he starts using a zoom in and zoom out effect on the video for every time the pictures are on. And it's like, you do realize you're showing scans and people are trying to read them. So what do? You make the video move? How freaking stupid are you? And you don't even leave it on the screen that long, the scans either. But after he shows those scans, he then starts to use the Loki example, where he says in the TV show about how the timelines, the secret timeline, how it was just one thing and every single split was getting pruned. First of all, he used that from what I said in the server, but he left out that he didn't explain it right at all. I was telling him that would you then call it universal because it just has one universe, but everything else is getting pruned. And he agreed with that. He said Marvel is universal. And so I was just in disbelief on the example I used because Marvel is not universal. MCU is not universal. All it takes is looking at one of their movies, Doctor Strange 2, and that kills your whole entire thing. Watching Loki fully kills your whole entire thing there. And so after that whole thing he goes to, the next point he has is he calls an outer god, Yog, a mythological god. Now, I'm sorry, do I ever remember him appearing in Greek mythology, Norse mythology, Celtic? I don't remember that last time I checked. And so he goes on a random ramble, and then uses a weird picture of a script that has nothing to do with the topic, has a picture of a giant axe with no context at all. And it makes me wonder, did he just get sent a whole bunch of scans from Fate Grand Order and copied and pasted it and just didn't look to see what he's putting there? And so his next point he tries to make is that the gods are not real mythological gods. And it's like, weren't you just talking about Ishtar, someone from Mesopotamian like God? It like what are you doing? And it's like, if let's say Fate Grand Order is not canon, just for shits and giggles, and only Fate Stay Night is canon, the first work of Nasu for Fate, are you just gonna leave out Hercules and Gilgamesh? It's like, dude, you're really a fucking idiot. And so what his next part is, he uses a BB statement. And it's like, okay, you didn't make sense there. You don't know what you're talking about still. He goes to energy of all human history on Earth and then gets a really high pitched voice. And it's like, please, shut the fuck up. It's annoying. And after that, he goes into a crazy amount of stuttering explaining this about the BB statement. He couldn't explain it at all. Then goes to moon cell is finite. And it's like, okay, insert scan here. Oh man, that clearly says finite. Wow. Somebody lost the ability to read. And finally, just something about the moon cell, since he was going on about the moon cell. He compared it to his piece of shit MacBook. And it's like, he says the MacBook and the moon cell are the same thing. So you're trying to tell me your MacBook copies the Earth's textures and recreates a whole entire reality? Alright, first of all, I could tell you're an idiot because you bought that overpriced laptop that can't even handle modded Minecraft. And you might be wondering, why am I going on the Minecraft topic? Because he said that Minecraft is more advanced than the moon cell. Okay, Minecraft can't even have the features that people request. It can't even do an update with more than 5 mobs. So, really, you need to shut your ass up. And so he goes into, they can't perceive the textures. Well, Dante, You kind of just use statements, a little bit of them, talking about the humans and servants talking about textures. They can't perceive it, yet they're talking about it. Okay, and explaining it to add on to that. And so he then uses, oh, well, they say countless. And it's like, you do know what a synonym is for countless, right? It's infinite. So maybe learn English better. He, his next blunder is he starts going, I mean, and then solar system and star power level. And then he uses the scan that shows what he's talking about. And then he proves himself wrong. And he uses something that is completely irrelevant, saying it's omnipotent computer powered by the sun. That doesn't, and somehow it's supposed to deny that it's omnipotent. No, it does not. I don't know what you were trying to get to. He goes on about the root and says it records everything. No, stupid, you're describing the Akashic records, which that is not the full extent of the root. And so, continuing on about the root, he talks about three families create the Holy Grail to reach the root. Therefore, Mooncell is an infinite. What? First of all, the Holy Grail was made for a pathway to the root, and people use it as a wish granting device. That is just a nutshell way of saying it. The Holy Grail can be used in many different ways, and it really depends on who wins. And we've only seen like very little usage of the Holy Grail when these people won. So eh, I don't know what you're trying to go in there. And so he just goes on about, oh, the planet is a normal planet. It is just like ours. Okay, last I checked, the planet Earth does not have multiple things called textures inside of it, copying the surface in an infinite scale. Last I checked that, I don't remember that happening, and I don't remember our planet having a brain either and protecting itself, summoning things called counter guardians. I don't remember that. And it being unkillable too. The planet can't even be destroyed because of how much protection it has for it. So I don't remember Earth having that. If it does exist, please tell me because I really want to hook up with Ark. And so he goes into his final statement. He's like, Natureverse is not the strongest in fiction. No one said that. No one said it's the strongest in anime either. And he then goes on about Naruto Solo's Nasuverse, Natsu, and all these random characters. Ichigo's not random. Go there. But he does not solo. Okay, why don't you debate on that first before you start making those statements? Because your stanky ass cannot talk about shit. And so he starts going on to stronger anime characters. He's like Ren Fuji. It's like, you think that's the strongest Masuda has to offer? That just tells me right there that you're learning about Masuda from power scaling. You're not actually into the content because you would know he's not the strongest in that verse. And so he also brings up Feather Rhine. Who the fuck is Feather Rhine? Feather Rhine? I know a Featherine. Uh, Featherine is pretty strong. I will say she kills a lot of Nasuverse, but I've never heard of a Feather Rhine. So maybe pick a different character. Then he puts on Darkest Night. It's like, okay, Sun Victim. The Holy Grail can solo it. He died to his son. And then he says, Captain America solos Nasuverse. Now you might be thinking, Steve Rogers, Captain America? No, he's not talking about my boy Steve Rogers. No, he's talking about Falcon. He disrespected all of Marvel fans by calling that fraud Captain America. Are you fucking kidding me? That is Falcon, you stupid bitch. Don't ever say that again. And get that mid character that has shit writing out of my face. Like, come on. If you're really confident on that, let's debate this on VC. Since you're so confident to say it, let's see. Let's see this statement. Let's see how far you can go with that. You know what? I will have my main Morgan versus your Falcon. Let's do that debate. All right? I'm more than happy to do that debate, and I offer it. And so, to finally just address it, this video was so poorly made, and it's a mess of a video. It's just, I can't believe someone looked at this and thought, oh yeah, this was good to post. And he spent a week making this video. Meanwhile, me, this video took 2 hours to make. And I posted it in the same day his video was released. And mine is way longer. And I'm talking the whole time, unlike him, who has his silent moments and filler words. I actually know what I'm talking about. He does not, and he will never have a full conversation with me inside voice chat because he is scared. Just like how he has a friend named Shaggy the Goat. He commented on my last video. Dante slams you, by the way. Okay, Dante couldn't even have control of his own Discord server, and you were trembling in fear of people. You refused to debate me because you knew you would lose. So I would shut your low tier, irrelevant ass up. I've seen 10 people with the same name and profile picture as you on Discord and YouTube. You are not an original person. Nothing about you is special. You are irrelevant to me. And Dante the Snake? You are Dante the Sped. So please, if you're going to talk about a verse, stick to your own. Stick to your own shit. You don't have fans, and no one cares about your shit. Just stick to your little cards and stick to your live streams where you have fish eyes, alright? I think we could stick to our shit, and you'll stick to your shit. Alright, well, you guys have a good day. I'm gonna go preferably pour molten lava inside of my skull so that it can burn the piece of my brain that has this as a memory because of how dumb this dude is. And just, I don't know, I'm just in disbelief once again. I thought last video talking about that pedophile had me dumbfounded. It looks like I got dumbfounded a second time. And I guess stupid people can really spread their stupid to other people because it's just I felt so stupid watching that video that I now have I just feel so much more intelligent than everybody else around me that I feel like a higher human being. He feels like a bug to me now, which he really is. Anyways, make sure to support this video, comment, like, and subscribe. Make sure to hate on his video because he deserves all the hate, and I hope he stubs his toe and it hurts for at least a month straight. And I hope he feels the same stinging pain of when you hit and stub your toe. And I hope he jams his fingers too. Because how dumb he was and how he wasted my time waiting for a debunk that was going to be this